Back in the locker room, Tunch and Wolf, brought to you by Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge. You know, Wolf, I was thinking about, here we are, week 2, no major injuries, right?
None.
No major injuries, a couple of dings. Willie Parker's a little dinged up. We've got Lawrence Timmons, a rookie outside linebacker, is a little dinged up. James Harrison with the ribs. Which one of those 3 injuries worries you the most?
Willie Parker's only because I'm not sure to the extent of the damage to the knee. Is it camp knee? If it's camp knee, but if it's just camp knee, that means it's a little wear and tear. He's mighty young to have wear and tear on that knee. So that would be somewhat bothersome. Lawrence Timmons, the groin thing is, becoming, I don't know, when do you start saying it's chronic?
Right.
I mean, when you miss all the OTAs? Yeah. I mean, and then in the camp. So it's coming.
Young man with chronic groin syndrome.
That's just not good.
Right,
and it sounds painful, by the way.
Yes, it does.
And then, of course, James Harrison. Now, James Harrison, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You get a little rib twitch. Yeah, you pull back the reins on him. He's a vet. He could well be your starter.
Right.
And certainly, if not, the guy is going to play a significant role in the season. So you want to pull back on his chains a little bit, make sure that he's okay. But you watch that cat run, he's going to be fine.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just tough as nails.
Well, with these 2 injuries, the guy that really benefits is Lamar Woodley, the second-round pick from Michigan, and he has done everything that you would want from your second-round pick, from a standpoint of playing the run, rushing the passer, and even coverage. I've seen him a couple times on the tight end. I've been very, very impressed with him. The guy's a nice little player, or nice player.
What do you like best about him? I mean, what aspect of his game jumps out?
Well, the thing that he's a great edge pass rusher. I think what he does wonderfully is he's got that squat body frame, and he's very, very compact. He plays, I guess he's probably about 6'1", and he does a great job of getting underneath the tall tackles. So he's going to get leverage. And what he does is he'll squeeze the pocket. When you got a guy that can squeeze the pocket like that, well, if you know as well as I do, that it allows pressure from the inside to get. And so he's the guy's very, very good. I've been very, very impressed with him.
I like when he does his Elvis imitation.
Elvis?
Was it Elvis?
No, it wasn't Elvis.
I got confused.
There was no Elvis.
No, he did an imitation for me. It was very funny.
Yeah.
It was
But
funny.
you don't remember it.
Nah, you know what? I just kind of blank rated on it. So
yeah,
carry on.
Okay. Well then.
Next subject.
Does it? Lawrence Timmons missing this time? Forget about the chronic groin for a while. Just the fact that he's missing time in this defense. You can't miss time.
Oh no.
You can't miss time.
No, you can't.
You've got to be ready to play. How far does this set him back?
I think it sets him back. Mondo. I mean,
Mondo?
Mondo.
Which means
mucho.
Mucho, which
means a whole lot.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure we understood each other.
Couple that.
They understood you.
Or
you understood yourself.
That's the biggest problem.
Yes. Sorry.
Now the thing about this, Tunch, is I look at it as this: if you are Lawrence Timmons and you just did all the OTAs and everything else like that, came into camp, and then you got the twitch in the groin, and you got some problems there, and you miss a week or so, maybe it's a 2-week backup, something like that.
Right.
But couple that with no OTAs, basically,
right,
and then coming into camp and having very little time at actually being out there while the getting's getting. Now I worry because I'm thinking
getting's getting.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's getting it, right?
Right.
So you're getting it. These are highly technical terms. If
I'm sorry,
if they're too fast for you, let me slow it down a little.
It's like following the lightning. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the way you are. You're quick.
Which, by the way, we saw some of that at camp this week too.
That's right.
Woohoo! I didn't like that.
Yeah, you didn't like it because your family has a
history.
Right? How many people in your family get struck by lightning?
You know what? I did it when I was a family reunion for hoop.
Right.
My mom.
Yeah.
We did a thing. My dad was hit by lightning when he was a boy. Okay. 18 years old.
Right.
Hit a milk can by him when he was on a farm. Knocked him off his feet.
Yeah.
My sister Lynn Ray had her umbrella hit in her hand. My niece was hit on my father's side. My grandfather had twins.
Yeah.
The one little boy died in infancy. He was hit by a bolt of lightning in the living room. And this is a family fact.
Wow.
And that, I kind of laugh about some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
But it ain't funny no more.
Okay, now, but
So when I'm around lightning, man, I get the twitches.
But you've never been struck.
I've never been struck as of yet, thank God.
You've never
You know what
struck.
I mean?
Are you sure? It's very peculiar.
You know what?
Sorry.
That was unnecessary.
I'm sorry.
Totally unnecessary. Out of bounds.
I'm sorry.
Which, by the way, reminds me, one time we were playing in Cincinnati.
Right.
Matter of fact, I was exiled to Minnesota at the time.
Right.
And at the end of the game, we'd fallen on the ball, and in less than 2 minutes, the game's over.
Right.
We were winning. And there's lightning all over Riverfront Stadium.
Right
overhead.
Right.
And I walked up to the referee, and I said, this game really doesn't mean anything at this point. Don't you think you should call it? He goes, no, it's not that close. And then boom, and right over the top of me, Chaluch, right? So I started going, my dad was hit by lightning. My sister, going down the whole thing.
Sure.
He looks at me and goes, get away from me.
But I was just asking you to explain some terminology, and all of a sudden we got to you playing in Minnesota versus Cincinnati.
Oh, that's true.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's one of those.
So I never lost for words.
It's one of those tangent things.
It really is. Another kind of interesting thing. The offense has looked very, very sharp, very fast. Ben has looked very sharp.
He has.
Questions without going back to Cincinnati in a lightning storm, please.
Oh, you're putting me in a box.
I mean,
now,
stay with the subject.
Stay focused. All
right.
I think that they've looked very tight. The whole point is, and have you noticed, not many of the footballs hit the ground from the snap.
Right.
There hasn't been too many guys dropping the football, on routes. They've looked very tight. I haven't heard a lot of line up and run it again type thing.
Right.
I mean, they look like they've spent a lot of time in the classroom as well as on the field in the OTAs, and everybody pretty much looks like they know what they're doing.
When we come back,
Unlike you.
When we come back, good shot by you. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the no huddle that they're running, a little bit about the spread offense, about what problems that poses for the defense, and we're going to talk about St. Vincent College dedicating Chuck Noll Field all this week, all right here in the locker room.